Hello and welcome to another edition of the Father and Son Pastime Podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
That's my dad. We are continuing today talking about our all-time dream teams of each MLB franchise. Today we are focusing on the Atlanta Braves, and I do want to specify Atlanta here. So we're not talking about the Boston Braves or the Milwaukee Braves, but only Atlanta 1966 onward. So for those at home, that means no Warren Spahn. He will not be discussed today. We can certainly come back and talk about like Milwaukee Braves, Boston Braves, all-time teams, if we chose to do that after the 30 current MLB franchises.
The Milwaukee Braves in the 60s were a great team.
Yes, they were.
They were very strong, fun to watch. They had like 4 or 5 superstars. So yeah, great hat too, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. So today we'll be focusing on the Atlanta Braves, 66 onward. They have to. So if you're just joining us, you have had to at least 3 years of service time to the Atlanta Braves. So another one that won't make the list is Eddie Matthews, who only had 1 year being an Atlanta Brave. So he won't be discussed today either. So just keep that in mind before you say you forgot these great legends of Braves history. Have to be an Atlanta Brave play in Atlanta from 66 onward for at least 3 years. We also talk about every position as well as pitchers, starter, reliever, setup man, and then a closer. And then we, for the fun, talk about the best manager as well as our favorite logo in team history. Make sense?
Yes.
I know you don't.
Logo goes 3 syllables now. Logo.
It's a slogo. Slogan and logo. I don't know. We've recorded a few of these today, so we're just rolling with it at this point. Let's start. We ping pong, so let's start with catcher. Dad, I feel like you always go first. I'm going to go first this time.
Beautiful.
And then so we'll kind of alternate who
Sure.
really kind of goes first from here on. So I chose Javy Lopez for my catcher with McCann being my backup. Those really are the two ones that really stuck out to me as an Atlanta Brave. And again, I think just Javy's a little bit better than McCann.
I'm with you 100% with that one. Javy had a lot of offensive numbers. Brian was probably a better defensive catcher than Javy, but Javy really had the stats along the way.
Yeah.
And another great hitting catcher, which is a great commodity to have.
Yes, it was. First base.
Freddie Freeman.
Same as well. Keep talking about Freddie.
You know what? I really have grown to like him. He's really good with the fans and the media, and he seems to have fun playing baseball.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
And
he's fun with his kid, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, his kid's good.
And the talking about somebody who's consistent, always up there in batting average, seems to really enjoy playing in Atlanta. Just seems to be a really good baseball player and great for the team and great for the city of Atlanta.
Yeah. He will be in the Hall of Very Good. Always gets a laugh. I don't know. It's just a consistent baseball joke for him. Consistent guy, Freddie Freeman. Just not going to have the numbers to get into Cooperstown. Debate below if you disagree.
Yeah.
For second base, I have Marcus Giles, and I think Ozzie Albies eventually will be this second baseman. Who do you have?
Glenn Hubbard.
Okay. 80s, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Snake. Mr. Snake baseball card.
Okay.
Remember he had like a big I think it
did
was a boa constrictor or some snake.
Like he was a WWE.
yeah. He was a character, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't a big man, but boy, was he great with his range and turned a lot of double plays and everything else. Very consistent. Was quite often in the All-Star game when Atlanta wasn't a great team, but again, like very consistent with that team. I mean, with the Braves, and just I think of all the second basemen I saw, I thought he had the best career of the second baseman.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a few really great contenders for their backup infielders, but again, I think Ozzie will take this from both of them in just a few years. Shortstop.
Rafael Furcal.
Me too.
Yes.
Speed, average, best of his career was with the Braves.
Yeah. Great range.
Yeah, really good defense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have much outside Rafael. There's a few other contenders in there. A lot of people on the Milwaukee Braves or Boston Braves, obviously, you can think of. But for Atlanta, I think Rafael takes the cake.
Okay. Oh, I agree.
Third base.
Chipper Jones.
Easiest choice on this.
Yeah.
But
What a great player he was.
yeah. You know what I thought was interesting about Chipper Jones? I, again, love watching baseball in the 90s. He was a big reason why. He never won a Gold Glove.
That's weird.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, who were the other great third basemen who always got the Gold Gloves in the National League? Yeah, that tells you the whole bunch.
Bagwell? Was he? I don't think he was a Gold Glover. I'm trying to think of third baseman in the 90s.
That'd be a good one to look up and all
But
that stuff.
Chipper, again, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
easy. I mean, was an easy choice for Cooperstown.
Switch hitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I agree.
I think he probably has some record for like most switch hit home runs or something like that.
Tell your great Chipper Jones story about the blizzard.
Oh, of course. Well, this involves Chipper Jones and Freddie Freeman. It's not just my story; it's a well-known story. But Freddie Freeman, when like Atlanta got like 2 inches of snow and all hell broke loose because they don't know snow. We're in Maryland; we know a little snow. He's from Chicago, so he really knows snow. But Freeman got stuck on one of those many highways in Atlanta, and Chipper Jones came on his ATV and dressed in full camo, picked him up on his ATV and drove him back to his house. So there's a whole great bobblehead if you're a Braves fan or collector where Chipper rescues Freddie, and it's a dual bobblehead where they're both riding an ATV.
And I can see that in him in full camo because he was a country boy.
Yeah,
and
he's a big man.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And he loved to fish and hunt and everything else. And I can see him. Let's start it up. As long as we got gasoline, let's go pick him up at the side of the road.
Yeah, ATV in the middle of an Atlanta highway. So.
Yeah, that's a great story.
It's a great story. Made for a great bobblehead too.
Yeah.
The outfield gets a little debated from here. I think I'm up next to pitch left field. I'm very a stickler for rules, if that makes any sense. So instead of just being like, oh, we got 2 great right fielders, 2 great center fielders, let me make 1 left and 1 center. I really try to focus on it, the amount of time and seasons played in that position when I can. So for that reason, I'm leaving off Dale Murphy on my list completely. I know. I wanted to shock the world, and I'm choosing Ryan Klesko. I would have loved to put Dale Murphy, who was a 2-time MVP, on my list, but he was more of a center fielder. And I have someone that I think's better and that I personally like a lot better than Dale Murphy as center. So Ryan Klesko, not a lot of great left fielders in Atlanta Braves history. Ron Gant's on that list, but Klesko just had some good numbers and many seasons in left field for Atlanta.
David Justice.
He, again, just didn't get the years for me. I thought Klesko had better averages, better performances. But Dave Justice, of course, journeyman, played on many different teams.
Correct. But his most years were Atlanta, and he was a young stud coming up through Atlanta that really made a name for himself there just for power, and he had a pretty swing. So, and he was a true left fielder. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought...
he was part of the World Series team in '95, I believe.
Yeah. He had great range and everything else, but he was one of the stars of Atlanta.
Yeah. Again, who's right? Klesko, David Justice. Talk about it. Justice. Okay. Well, that means, so in center field, I'm very curious who you're choosing for center field, Murphy or Andruw Jones?
Dale Murphy.
All right, let's debate. All right, why?
He's going to be the Hall of Very Good.
I think both these players deserve the Hall of Fame, and I think neither will get it. Unfortunately, Dale Murphy had 2 MVP seasons with fantastic, leading the league in many different categories, and didn't get it. So he's left off my list. I know.
And then that team wasn't a very good team back in when Dale Murphy played.
Right.
He batted cleanup. That used to try to pitch around him, but he had power at the old Atlanta Stadium, which was a pretty big stadium, and he always hit 40 home runs in I think it was Turner Field back then.
Yeah.
And he really carried the team back in that era.
Yeah. Talking about Andruw Jones's years with the Braves, the only person defensively, in my opinion, that was better than Andruw Jones in that time period is Ken Griffey. He could climb the wall, the Spider-Man catch, laid his body out on the line to make these catches before he got really heavy, and towards the end of his career, always a stolen base threat. He was a 10-time Gold Glover, just perennially, year after year, getting Gold Gloves. I don't think I had any really Gold Gloves. Like I said, Chipper didn't get anything up until Andruw, so I have to have some really great defense in my center, and I just think Andruw Jones is better defensively than Dale Murphy. I like Andruw Jones' arm more than Murphy.
Yes.
And he has more power than Murphy did. I think Murphy hits the ball better, has a much better career average or average just with the Braves. But I just love watching Andruw Jones play the game. Please sound off in the comments below.
You're telling me Andrew's still playing the game?
Yeah, I think he's still trying to play in Korea. He stopped professional baseball when he was 35, and I think he started to play with Korea. He came he started at 19.
Correct.
He made his MLB debut at 19 years old. So phenomenal player, gave his life to baseball. He just put on, I think, a little bit too much weight, playing with New York as well as that towards the end of his career.
And like Ken Griffey Jr., his injuries really caught up with him, and especially his legs. But he used to dare you to hit it over his head.
He was a competitor.
Yeah.
Hey, he was just fun to watch.
Yeah.
He
loved to play the game.
Yeah. He was great in those late 90s, early 2000s with Atlanta. Really fun.
Yeah.
Right field, I think, is a simple choice. This person was on both Milwaukee Braves and the Atlanta Braves, but Hank Aaron. And, of course, in my opinion, the best moment of Hank Aaron's career happened in Atlanta, 1974, when he passed Ruth's home run record. I'm sure you have Hank Aaron.
I do.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, he wasn't a very big man. He was
Yeah.
only like 6', 6'1",
No batting
like
average.
185. But he had arms, just massive arms, and that 714 will always be played in the highlights and all that stuff, and people come out of the stands and all that stuff. But he just was a quick bat. Used to pull the ball. And Milwaukee Stadium was always a tough place to hit home runs. Atlanta was a little smaller, but he hit 714 in kind of the dead ball era. I mean, you're talking about somebody who had a lot of strength, and he was a good outfielder as well. But him, McCovey, Ernie Banks, they were like the Willie Mays. I mean, you're talking about a National League, just premier all stars year after year. But he was great for baseball.
Absolutely. Simple choice. Great right fielder.
Yeah.
For pitching, I think there's a lot of debate on maybe who starts. For me, it's not so much. Again, Warren Spahn doesn't qualify. So Greg Maddux is my starter, and I would give him the ball every single time as a starter. Again, there's great people. I think Tom Glavine. I love Tom Glavine, but Maddux is better.
When a game's on a line, Game 1 of the World Series, Game 7 of the World Series, who do you want out there? You want Maddux.
Yeah, competitor.
Yeah, just an athlete as well. Yeah. Just one of the true athletes on the mound.
5 years, I just want to like this. I love Maddux, and he was my team leader for the Cubs as well, who I'd give the ball to. And again, in the past 30 years of baseball, I think he is up there for, if not the best pitcher. It's like him, Pedro. I mean, there's some really great pitchers. But let's just read some ERAs. 1.56, 1.63, 2.2, 2.22, 2.36 over a 5-year span with the Atlanta Braves. Yeah. Surprisingly, he only got the Cy Young 3 times out of those 5 years, which is who's pitching better than that. Yeah. So just incredible numbers. Greg Maddux could really paint the corners. I had full trust in him getting the job done, and he has some great 8-9 guys that I think we both have in common. Yeah.
The real sad story, being a Cubs fan, is Greg Maddux was a free agent, and the Cubs wouldn't give him the money he deserved, and he walked. Just think if he had that career.
Or the money today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it's better than Kershaw, Verlander numbers.
But if he stayed with the Cubs, that could have probably changed that whole franchise around sooner than they did. But the GM was a real, stippler for the money and everything else, and he just didn't let the money go. And Greg Maddux went to Atlanta and became just a superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8-9 punch. Smoltz, again, he was plenty of years as a starter, but he had several years as a closer and was really great at it. But no closer in Braves history is better than Craig Kimbrel for me. Your thoughts?
I'm with you 100%. Smoltz was a great pitcher. If you really think about him and Eckersley that both started and relieved, and I think how hard that is to do that. But, Smoltz kind of became a reliever because he had some arm issues and everything else. And it was better for him to do the 1 inning and all that stuff so it wouldn't be so taxing. But what a great athlete. Came out of Lansing, Michigan, and was a great basketball and baseball player. Got a scholarship at Michigan State for basketball. But then got drafted, and then he was with Detroit Tigers. Tigers traded him to Atlanta. Another bad trade.
There's some bad trades all around.
Yeah, but Craig Kimbrel, when he was with Atlanta, was awful good. Yeah. And nobody wanted to see him come in the 9th inning.
Yeah. We finish up with talking about our managers. I think it's a really simple choice here. Bobby Cox, Hall of Fame manager, World Series ring, best manager of the Atlanta Braves, I think, hands down. And then your logo, Dad, there's 4 options here, albeit there's very little changes, just a little bit of color scheme, font changes. So are you thinking
I have to go
early days or new days?
I'll go to Screaming Indian, because who doesn't like a Screaming Indian?
I will not agree on either point with my father on that one. I kind of like just the more embossed logo of the 80s than the more current logo. This is kind of got like a font smaller to me, I guess. But the tomahawk is nice. The tomahawk chop, certainly fun to do in Atlanta. But yeah, so not many logo changes over near 50 years. So, yeah.
You like the Braves, Mr. Braves?
I mean, that is what they are called as a team logo, but I think just like the Cleveland Indians.
They had to change it.
Yeah, I think they'll be like, it was a part of a history. We like to talk about the tomahawk more now rather than the Indian.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Again, if you're a Braves fan watching this, let us know your favorite logo. Do you like the older logo, or I kind of just like the Tomahawk.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it'd be cool to redo this, where the Tomahawk is just a logo, and the Braves is written on, like, the handle of the Tomahawk.
Yeah,
But that's just me.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, or like the physical, I guess, the tool part, the sharp part of the Tomahawk, the blade, if you will. But yeah, I think there'll be a new design with that eventually. But
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Appreciate all the antics. We had some good debates.
We did.
Please, the biggest one, Andruw Jones or Dale Murphy, please let us know about that. Some other good ones in there, too. I left off Dave Justice completely. So let us know your thoughts. Hit us up in the comments below. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Any closing remarks, Dad?
You know what? It's been so much fun to do the research and go through these great players, and then even the organizations you may not know a whole lot about when you do the research, saying they have phenomenal players and how talented Major League Baseball is to go through and just go through their careers and how just wonderful the sport is. So it's been a great educational experience for me as well.
Yeah, it's always a big shame when you see these great players, not just the Braves history, but we just talked about the Padres and the Rockies. Rockies don't have a World Series ring. All those great players that never earned, like Tony Gwynn, never earned his team a World Series win. Arenado is still, winless in terms of, not having a ring or a trophy. And it's just such a shame. You look at Griffey, who never got a World Series ring. So it's just so interesting that sometimes these great players, have all the or all the accolades for personal, accomplishments, but don't maybe have like the team behind them. So it's just very interesting to see like who Freddie Freeman, the great people are Andruw Jones, people that are not going to make the Hall of Fame. I think Andruw Jones should.
Yeah.
He has like 400 plus home runs, like 434. I'm just guessing, see how well I did on that one. But it's just a shame to see all this talent that is just remarkable. You see all their accolades, and you're like, you're not going to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really, it just goes to show you how tough it is to get into Cooperstown and how much we should respect those that made that Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we didn't mention Fred McGriff with Atlanta, but another one that, won't be,
sad.
In
492 home runs?
Yeah, I mean, just fell short and was a phenomenal player. And again, one of the great players of his era, but just not enough to get into Cooperstown.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Braves is definitely a great team. I think Braves, since we just talked about the Padres would be a really fun, like all-time Braves, all-time Padres would be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, it would be because you got a lot of athletes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you really do.
I agree.
Well, thank you for watching. Keep subscribing. We're about halfway done our series on all the current 30 MLB franchises. We might dip into past franchises after that, as long as COVID-19 is still a thing. We'll keep putting out videos for you to watch. Thanks for those that watch and subscribe.
Thank you.